So, Gamescom ended. Finally, 3 days of non-stop trailers, informations, but it seems that the convention is getting better and better, and I have quite hopes with that convention, since it's not on the other side of Atlantic. More or less, it's much more accessible to people living in Europe. But the main information that I want to share with you guys is a title that was revealed at Gamescom by Capcom, out of all things. The title of this game is Remember Me. It seems that it was supposed to be published by Sony, and they sort of terminated their partnership with the studio, so of course the studio looked for a new publisher, and it seems Capcom is trying their best to publish this game. I never had much to do with Capcom, but it seems they are criticized a lot about their DLC practice. What we know for now is that Remember Me will be developed. The studio that created this project, and it seems from the demos and the trailers that we saw from the Gamescom, it seems that the game is quite in the development of the game is in an advanced stage. You know, this is the first time I really hear about this project, and it really intrigues me. First of all, what we have here, we have an action game based in Paris in a sort of a new alternative, I wouldn't call it cyberpunk setting, but still. We play a woman whose memories were wiped clean. No one really knows why, and that's a big mystery for her. She also is equipped with a device that seems to be either attached to her hand or is just a sort of an alternative hand that is able to enter people's minds and mess with their memories. So you can get new memories, which means you can also get information from people by just glimpsing into their minds, and with this thing she can also alter, and that's the main thing, she can alter the memories of people. From the trailer it seems there's a lot of things is still unsaid. We don't know really who he is, we just know that she's talking with someone called Edge, who is sort of a guide for her when it comes to missions. By the way, the studio name is Don't Nod, something like that. The studio is based in Paris, which is also interesting that the studio is based in Paris and the publisher is from Japan, because Capcom is a Japanese company. It seems that it is another attempt that Capcom is trying to make, or rather Japanese publishers are trying to make, to get Western gamers' attention with the new games. First of all, I think it was Square Enix with the new Deus Ex Human Revolution. Now Capcom, first we had Dragon's Dogma, a very Western type RPG, and now they are taking under the protection of them as a company. Remember Me, an interesting project. I highly recommend check out the trailers, check out this this project, because it's quite promising. From the trailer you will find out that the release is planned in half next year, May probably. Not to mention that also we are shown a lot of the game itself. So we have here an Assassin's Creed type of gameplay, action game with a lot of puzzles. Not only when it comes to sheer fighting, but as well as it comes to manipulation of memories. Manipulation itself is sort of a minigame, when you try to manipulate objects in the memory of a given person to influence the memory itself. It looks very promising, but unfortunately I fear that this means that the game will be very linear, because each of these puzzles will have one way of resolving it. I would like there to be more than just one way, because, you know, I'm an RPG player, and whenever a game is using the possibility of creating moving objects and excluding paths, you know what I mean, I hope the more interactivity in the game the better. And Remember Me for now presents itself more of an action game with a very linear storyline. Of course, we don't know much about the story, so it might be a revolutionary story, but as well it is quite possible that the game will be more or less, when it comes to the story, an average game. I fear that's the thing that action games always have. Assassin's Creed, Batman Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Prince of Persia games. Most of these games the action games, they usually have a very narrow, linear path when it comes to storytelling and to interactions, which is, for me, is a limitation, because one major thing, a major plus that video games have over other media, especially movies, is the interactivity. The possibility that the experience you have playing the game can change dramatically depending on the things that the player is doing. So you interact to some degree with the presented world, with the presented story, or the presented general gameplay. And the more interactivity, the better the game looks, in my opinion. The better the game can be received. Of course, this has also its limitations, but action games, or any game, when the game decides not to take advantage of the feature that the games have of interactivity, I fear then the game becomes sort of eliminates one of its very strong points from the very fact that it is a game. I mean, the plus that the game decides to not use comes from the very fact that it is a game. So why not use that as a design choice, of course. Probably also a simplification, because if you don't use the interactivity, the experience is much easier to play through. That's a disputable thing. Anyway, remember me. I placed this title on my radar. It seems a nice title, at least from the pure design point of view. The gameplay looks nice, the presentation looks nice. Of course, this is still the development, but I really like the art style. Plus, there is one more main thing. The main hero, I don't recall her name now, and I don't have her right in front of me. However, she moves very nicely. Animations are fluid, and it seems that they are more responsive than in other action titles. I had the problems with that sometimes in Arkham Asylum, because I only play Arkham Asylum, and in Assassin's Creed 2, especially with Ezio. The Ezio was a little, not clumsy, don't get me wrong. It's just the fact that the animation was so fluid that sometimes it was slow. And the presentation that you saw in this material, as well as I highly encourage you to try and see it for yourself. In these materials, she moves much more responsive. At least that's how I see it. Thank you very much for listening. It was a pleasure as always. My name is Gabriel, and feel free to comment. Bye.